Hi, YouTube. This is Sasha and Alicia with Chat Tea.
We are two best friends living in two different states that chat all things reality TV, 90 Day Fiancé, Bravo, and The Bachelorette.
And we are starting with Bachelorette. So that is what we're on today. We are at episode 5. So if you guys...
Claire is gone!
Claire's gone. The Claire and Dale show is officially over, even though they do pop back into this episode to like kill a half an hour. I mean,
I didn't watch that part. I'm like,
They should condense this to an hour. It really does not need to be 2 hours, but hey, whatever. Anyways,
I think it gets to after like there's only 12 guys left. I think it goes down to an hour.
Yeah, it needs to go down to an hour from the get-go. There's just so much filler. There's a lot of filler.
Too many commercials too, and too many like.
Well, that's what they need. I guess they do need all those commercials because who else is going to pay? How else are they going to pay for the Bachelor Mansion and now the entire resort in La Quinta?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Because
so
people were flocking there anyway.
During COVID. We're on episode 5, and it is Tayshia's first episode. So. Breath of fresh air.
You know, it's great that you say that because a lot of the guys said that, but I just love Tayshia's attitude coming into it. Like, Claire kind of, and I didn't really realize it until I saw Tayshia walk in. Claire
There's a big difference.
Stick up her ass.
Yeah. No, she was.
Or chip on her shoulder, or both. Like,
you could feel, like,
you could.
That just, like, I'm ready to fight with you who are gonna, who aren't gonna do it my way. Like, I'm ready. Like, she was just ready. She was ready to battle with me.
Definitely heartbroken. I think this is a lesson for ABC.
Yeah.
And the show is like, you can't give them that many chances.
No old bachelorettes who have had one too many chances.
Not the old part, ma'am. Hey, I would be the bachelorette.
Okay,
I would stay with her.
Not too many broken bachelorettes?
Not someone that's been through this process 4 or 5 times and
I don't
still
even know.
haven't found anyone.
I don't even know. I lost count. I
mean, not to say it couldn't happen. Obviously, her and Dale are happy for now.
Yeah.
But, like, it's just...
Yeah, it was a lot.
Anyway.
But, I mean...
She's gone.
It was drama, and it was something different. So, it was kind of, I mean... I guess it was really good for ratings, right? I mean, it's the first time it's ever happened. I don't know. I didn't look at the ratings,
but... that, absolutely. For that, absolutely. I think the first 2 episodes, you guys let us know. After the first 2 episodes, did you keep watching? I wasn't going to. The only reason why I did, and I think the only reason why anybody else did, is because they knew she was leaving. They knew something else was going on. They knew that this is truly... the biggest bachelor in history.
The most dramatic.
Yeah.
I mean, true.
Because I could not have watched a whole season of her. We would not be recording this if it was the Claire show the whole time, because after, like, night 1, even when she was meeting the guy, she was just like, hi, like, and I don't know if it's because I see the difference with Tayshia, but she's just kind of like, you're going to break my heart. I
would have watched, but I think it would have been like an afterthought. Like, I had no other shows I wanted to watch, and I was just playing with the baby in the living room and wanted to turn off her baby TV. Guys, I let the baby watch TV. She loves it. But
don't matter.
I put on Bachelorette, and she'll kind of look a little bit if, like, they're laughing, but otherwise she ignores it. So, I mean, I would probably have, like, thrown it on then, and then gotten disgusted and annoyed with her and probably fast forwarded a lot. But
it would have been my late night.
Yeah.
It would be my Real Housewives of New York. I kind
of fall asleep too. Who cares if you pass out?
I don't need to pay attention, but it's on my DVR, so let's run through it. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. Let's get it off this DVR. Let's watch it and get it off.
But we have Tayshia now.
We have Tayshia. So she walks in, and the guys stoked. I mean, you could see their face. They're just like...
Easy's face, the one that was like in the purple suit or whatever. When
he's in love already.
He was the first one to see her, and and it's funny because the guys even talked about it, the jaw dropping.
Oh, the jaw
She just
dropped.
brings a light into the room.
And
Like,
her
she
smile, her face and her smile is just like,
just,
I don't,
she's
everything.
just lit. She is
She's
the
lit up.
epitome of somebody
Yes.
that lights up a room.
Yes,
She really,
exactly.
really is.
Yeah.
And I love that. Like, she's what I strive to be. You know, you want to walk into a room and have people gravitate toward you, and she had that, man.
Yeah.
These guys were Twitter pated. Absolutely.
They were so happy. I mean, they didn't know what they were getting. They were confused about what was going on with Claire. They looked like sad little puppies. And then she walked in, and it was.
And I think
it was
a
nice.
good thing. I think that, you know, and it gets brought up a little bit by some of the guys, you know, when they talk to her. There were two guys in particular, but like the one guy, I'll never remember his name. But
I never remember all until we're down to like 4.
Yeah, exactly. He, you know, when he was talking to her, it's like they had 4 months to prepare, right? So they knew they were getting Claire.
Yeah.
They had all of this. And so then to see somebody that they didn't know who it was, like Chris Harrison never said who the new Bachelorette was.
Yeah, so it was a total
and
surprise.
To see their genuine happiness, like I think was amazing.
It was. I liked
now,
it.
we might have seen a different Claire. We might have seen a different reaction with the guys had this been filmed on point, like when it was supposed to.
Yeah.
But I think it had just gotten stale. And
I agree.
I think even for Claire, because Claire had mentioned she checked out their social media, so she already knew coming into this. And you could see that.
She had, she definitely had some insider information. Yeah, and it did. It made a big difference because she didn't have to spend that first couple days getting to know the guys in order to see who she gravitated to. She already got to know them from their social media and was already gravitating toward Dale mainly, but, you know, I'm sure a couple other also.
I'm sure there was probably 4 or 5 that she was definitely the only 4 or 5 she wanted to talk to.
Exactly. So it definitely changed the dynamic of the show, for sure.
Listen, anything goes in 2020. What do they call it?
It really
Airport rules? Nothing matters. You can drink at 8 a.m. now.
Nope, do whatever. Oh, fun fact, Tayshia is from Orange County, where I live right now. Well, where I pretty much always live. But where Alicia used to live. And eventually she'll come back and live. I'm going to get her back, guys. I'm going to do it.
We're going to figure this out. We're going to figure this out.
Going to get her back. I am. I am determined.
So, yeah. I know.
Like our video, guys. Like and subscribe, okay? Each like is one step closer to getting Alicia back. All right? In Orange County with me, where I need her.
Yeah. 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 So it's really cool. So she's meeting the guys. And these poor guys, like this episode, I really loved it because good old ABC, Chris Harrison, keeps throwing these more jabs at him and more jabs at him. But Tayshia, I love the way she handled it. So,
yeah.
For example, she's hanging out, she's talking to the guys, and then Chris pulls her away, and we've got 4 new guys. We've got 4 new guys.
That's right.
I am so grateful. So I think this was, like we had talked about, I think a little bit. I don't know if we talked about it in the last one or when you and I have talked off camera. But they had a bunch of guys in quarantine in case somebody tested positive, they could swap them out. So they already had a handful of guys waiting in the wings.
Where were those guys the whole time? They're just like chilling on the resort, like hanging out. And if they never get used, they never get used. It's just kind of like, hey, here's a place to quarantine and get free room service.
I think they were like, I don't know what the plan was for them.
Yeah.
But I definitely think those guys were there for Claire.
Yes.
And the reason being is, first of all, okay, 2 things to say about this. First of all, I'm really glad they gave Tayshia that moment, though, because I think that that's a key part in The Bachelor and Bachelorette is seeing them come out of the limo.
Is doing the limo, like the limo driving up.
That.
Yeah.
And I initially thought, because obviously maybe a couple episodes ago they knew this was about to happen, so they obviously got Tayshia on board. I thought, well, maybe they did get new guys that wanted Tayshia. However, there's one guy, Spencer. I remember his name because he's an ass. He walks in.
So he's your fave.
Yeah.
He's your top pick.
Much like Bennett, the guy that reminds me of like upstate New York, wears the sweater over his shoulders.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of his either.
No.
Something about him just.
So Spencer gets out, and of course, Tayshia, as soon as he walks away, she's just like, hot, 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 right? She's loving this guy. So he walks in, and all the guys are like, WTF. And the first thing is they ask, how many more guys are there? Spencer's response, you're just going to have to find out. Asshole move number one. The second thing out of his mouth, or maybe this was the first thing and that was the second, was, okay, he walks into this room. All the guys are sitting there, and he's like, so which one of you pissed off Claire?
Oh, that's right. I remember that comment.
So
yeah.
That's what made me realize these were the extra guys that were there for Claire.
Okay.
Because I heard they had some in the waiting, and I'm sure they probably would have let him go home after a few, probably halfway through the season if they didn't need him.
That's yeah, I guess that's true. If they cut him down.
Clearly, these guys were here for Claire.
Yeah.
And when he said that, and I'm just like, bro.
I
mean, of course,
it was. I'm terrible with my comments sometimes, so I did kind of laugh at that.
I thought it was funny.
I thought it was.
But I was just like.
I mean, it's being a dick, but I thought it was funny.
I was more in shock. Like, I wish we could have recorded. I wish I could have recorded my face during it because my jaw dropped. I was like, I feel for the other guys, and it's probably because I really like a good handful of them. Because not to get, I don't want to go down a road that pisses people off, but my type. There's a good handful of guys that are my type.
Yes, there
are. On this show.
Yes, there
that
are.
I love. And I feel for them. And I'm like, oh, like I actually think as far as my type goes, there's always guys that are my type on this show. And this one, I genuinely like all of them. I think they're all actually good guys. Sometimes I think they're just thrown in there.
Yeah.
But
they have.
So I'm feeling for these guys.
Well, I feel like, too, I didn't, with Claire's first few episodes, I didn't really get to even know the guys. Like, it's good to hear them talking now and hear them smiling and sharing their stories, because the first 4 episodes really centered around Claire bitching and whining that no one is stepping up to the plate for her. Claire, going after Dale, and the guys bitching and whining about Claire going after Dale. And so I feel like we didn't even get to really know anything about these guys and their personality because it was the Claire and Dale show and everything was centered around that. So It's nice. Like, I feel like it's like a brand new show with Tayshia. Like, now we're actually getting to hear the guys, hear a little bit about them, hear a little bit about their background. Like, the one guy that she went on a date with was like, they actually sat down and she was listening to him talk about his background and what he's done and about himself, where we never really got that with Claire, because the guy would start to and she'd be like, hold on. I can't get it out of my head. Like, I'm really pissed at the other guys about doing this, so I got to handle that. Like, we didn't even get a chance.
And it was just like, she was just so checked out. I think a lot of the guys were. I think
the guys were too. Because they were pissed.
Like you can tell. You can tell the energy difference. And I really like it. So, asshole gets
he gets the first impression rose.
He does, and this is where I think.
How many guys do we have? 20? 20. So was it 14 and 6 came in, or we had 16 and 4 came in?
16 and 4 came in.
Okay, that's what I thought. I just couldn't remember. I'm getting my numbers mixed up.
So yeah. So, and this is a good example of, again, where ABC's coming in and Chris Harrison's coming in and doing what they do. And Tayshia is having the respect for the guys. After the first impression rose, now everyone's pissed. But it also doesn't surprise me that she gave it to somebody who came out of that limo. That part did not surprise me, because I feel like that truly is the first impression, is when they come up out of the limo.
Yeah.
It's easier to get a gauge on first impression.
Well, yeah, because she's meeting those guys one-on-one, where the other guys, she just walked into the room and they're all there.
Exactly.
So, like, she's not, So
it's hard for her to gauge. So I totally get that.
Yeah.
And then she says, okay, so now it's time for the rose ceremony, right, Chris? And all the guys are like,
oh, crap. We just met her. What the hell? Yeah.
And she canceled it.
Yes, I loved that. That was like my favorite part of the episode that she did that.
Yep, and she actually does something like that twice, and I just love it because she has respect for these guys, and she wants to.
She's like, I need more time with them before I just start cutting them. So, like, let's hang out. Claire would have been like, yeah, I'm just not feeling it. So we're just going to cancel the rest of the cocktail hour. And I'm just going to go back to my room and cry.
Cutting you guys. Exactly. Yeah. So it was really cool that she does that. Chris Harrison also mentions that every single person will be a part of a date.
Yep.
So they go on this group date. First of all, Tayshia's body is gold.
Oh, my God.
Hashtag gold 100%.
Jeez. Yeah.
And might be jumping around a little bit, but
we are.
Again,
it's hard not to.
It's hard not to. It's hard not to. Well, I don't know. Is there something around that you want to talk about before?
Let me see. Okay, so okay. Well, they have like the little part with the Claire and Dale or that sit down, but let's talk about that after. Let's get through Tayshia's whole part.
Okay.
And then we can just touch on that. There wasn't much on that, but we'll touch on it for you guys.
There wasn't much.
So, okay, yeah. So Tayshia, so they have the cocktail party. They end the cocktail party. Everyone goes to bed, and then it's the morning. Tayshia's got 20 guys to choose from. And she's going on her first date. And now I did write the names down on this one. I'm really trying to be better about the names. But it's so hard. There
was too many.
There's so many. Okay, so we got Blake, Ryland, Zach, Jordan, Noah, Peter, Kenny, Jay, Easy, and Spencer. So we got a good amount of guys.
We do. I think she's feeling Zach, by the way. I think she's definitely feeling Zach, too.
Yes, she is. And
so a couple of things about this. So they show up and they're just playing in the water or whatever. And then of course Chris Harrison comes in and says, let's make this competitive. So now we're playing water back.
First though, you gotta talk about the way that she's in the pool first. Okay, she's already in the pool. And then they're like, all right, guys, like, come on out to the pool for, your first group date. And as they're walking out, she's like, I don't know, it's like Baywatch style, like emerging like in slow motion out of the pool, dripping wet, red bikini, big smile. And all the guys are just like,
yeah. Yep.
I mean.
Yeah. So.
Those guys are lucky.
Those guys are lucky.
They're lucky.
So they decide they're going to do another sport. And again, here's where it gets like something that I love is like all the guys are like,
we feel you guys. We feel you.
Most of these guys have been through this already. Like
they don't want to play strip dodgeball again.
And a lot of them were on the losing team. So they're talking about this during the game. Some of the guys are like, we lost last time. We're not losing again, blah, blah, blah. Well, a lot of the guys that said that, they were on the losing team.
Yeah.
So you guys know what that means on a group date. That means you don't go into the evening with them.
Yep.
So then they're, okay, congratulations to the blue team. You win, blah, blah, blah. Chris is like, however, you're only going to miss some hamburgers and hot dogs. You will be back tonight for the evening portion.
Yes.
And Tayshia said, and the sigh of relief, and Tayshia's like, I got you guys. Like, I think it's just another great way where she owned her season and said, look, I know we're going to do this. I know this is how it works, but I don't want to do this to these guys.
Yeah.
And I think that was a lot of it is just her really looking out for these guys and being a
they've kind of been through enough already. She knows that.
They have. And so that was really cool. And then at the end of the night, the first impression rose, you see the guys, or the group date rose, you see the guys defeat again because last time Claire didn't even give it out. And I love that she spoke certain words about different guys.
Yeah.
She didn't just immediately pick one. Although I did think she was going to give it to Spencer again because he was the first one she brought up. But
she said what she liked about each one of them in their conversation and made it personal. Made it about them.
Made it personal for about 3 or 4 of the guys, things that stood out to her, and then gave out her rose. And who knows, maybe it's just the editing, but she might have done that with all the guys. I liked this, I liked this, I liked that.
Yeah.
And then gave her rose, which I think was really cool that she paid those compliments because I do think the guys need that.
We do have to go back to one thing, though, about the group date and the splash ball. What'd you think about their uniforms?
Not surprising.
Because the guys seemed really excited about their uniforms.
Yeah. didn't really have anything to say about that, to be honest.
I felt so bad for them. ABC just constantly like.
Yeah, but if you've ever watched, I mean,
does this
the
crap?
show, that's normal. Like, I don't think that's ever anything. I mean, I think it's funny that it clearly is a focus on the guys this season, but
yeah.
I mean, we've gone through over 30 Bachelors and Bachelorette seasons. So
their facial expressions, though, it always just surprises me, or not surprises me, but it always just makes me laugh a little when they're just like, what's this?
Yeah.
Oh, and then, do you remember who got a bloody nose? Because they were a little aggressive.
Spencer.
It was Spencer. Okay. Yeah, they were getting a little aggressive in that.
Gave it to him.
In that pool.
Easy gave it to him.
In that pool little game there. Like.
No, and they should. And I mean, some of the other guys were even saying, like, he deserved it. And I think he did. I think he came in way too cocky. I think he came in guns blazing. Let's preface this here a little bit too. It's probably because I don't like that type of guy. I don't like the cocky type. I don't like the type that can walk into a room and say, I can get you. I've got this wrapped up. And so every season, there's always one of them. And I just can't stand them.
Yeah.
I can't. So, and I really liked Easy. I liked him from the start. I think he was one of the few that we got to know a little bit with Claire. I just like him.
I like him too.
Good, old, cool guy.
He just seems nice and normal and genuine. There's no like airs about him. Yep.
So then they have the date, and Jason is talking to one of the other guys.
Yes, because we go back, like they totally pan. Like this isn't on the date. Like the date's happening over here.
Yep.
And then
the date's happening over
there.
And
then Jason's like at the pool, just hanging out, contemplating life.
Yep, and I do, he's having a conversation with, I can't remember the guy's name. I know he's Asian. Is the one that he's having the conversation with. Oh, yeah.
And I respect him for this.
Huh?
And I said, I respect him for this.
I do. So he has a conversation with him about how he's feeling. And then later on that evening, as the guys have come back and all that, a lot of these original guys, because you do know that, I mean, you can tell that they definitely developed this bromance because Claire wasn't into him. So might as well make some friends because we're here.
They have nothing else to do.
And there's like 6 to 8 of them standing around, and they're sitting there chit-chatting, and Jason walks up, and they're like, yeah, man, we were just talking about you. Like, how are you doing? And he's like, look, I like, this whole interaction was so cool between his interaction with the guys and then talking to Tayshia. But he tells the guys, he's like, look, out of respect for Tayshia, out of respect for you guys, I don't want to take any more time away because I'm still in love with Claire.
Yeah.
And if you guys remember, I think the biggest thing with him is they went on that little bonfire and he opened up. Yeah. He was one of the few that really opened up to her. And I think that was just a scary moment for him, and he let his guard down, and then this happened. So
he's not ready to go into that again with somebody else.
And of course, the guys totally support him, respect his decision. And then he goes and talks to Tayshia. And of course, that's one of Tayshia's biggest fears is that, and as it would be.
Yeah.
And I love that he reassured her. He goes, those 19 guys out there do not feel the way that I do. They are here for you. And I think him and there's one other guy I'm a little nervous about having too many feelings for Claire.
Who?
He has a beard, and he's the one that messaged her about her mom right around Mother's Day.
Okay.
He broke the rules and messaged her before the show started.
I don't remember.
He's the only other one I'm a little concerned about.
Yeah.
But other than that, none of the other guys ever.
No, most of them seem like they're pretty excited. I mean.
So, yeah. I mean, I think, and of course, Tayshia's like, I do need the reassurance that these guys are here for me. And so, of course, it's going to bring up Sal. But, she even said, like, when he left, she's like, this is the reason why I'd want to get to know him. He does seem like a genuine guy. But if he's not going to let his guard down, he did what was best for him, and I love that.
Yeah. No, and that's good that he took himself out of the game early, too, and isn't, like, taking anyone's place, and, and is just, being real and being authentic, and he's not feeling it, so he's leaving. I mean, that's how it should be. If
It's
people
how it
aren't
should be.
feeling it, or
I
if
would
people are
love
stuck
to
on
see a
someone
Bachelor
else.
season. I would love to see a Bachelor or Bachelorette season where more people leave on their own, because you can usually tell who's not feeling it. And
Yeah.
it's interesting too, because Tayshia came from Colton's season. I think Colton's season was one of the few seasons where I think 2 or 3 women left on their own.
Yeah.
They like weren't feeling it and they left on their own. And I think that
Sometimes you're just not.
You're not. I mean, you can't expect. I mean, just like you feeling the guys or the girls, like they have to be feeling you too. And like,
and they do a decent job of getting a bunch of different people from different walks of life and different types of people. So obviously, not every single one of these people who have extreme differences are all gonna be into you. Like, that's not the way it works.
no.
So
but they want to get different so they can hopefully find you a match.
Exactly. They want to give you lots of options. So, yeah.
So I think that was really good. So then we end the episode.
Well, then after that, they go back to the group date. Group date, Rose goes to Easy. I don't know if we said that. We said she talked about everybody, but the group date, Rose goes to Easy. Oh. But I did also want to mention, I liked that she was talking to Zach, and after they kind of like talked, like she went in for the kiss. Like she's definitely not holding back in any way. She's like, no, we're getting to know each other. I'm going in for it. Yep. And it's not done in an aggressive way. It's just done in a very confident way of like, let's get let's get this started, because they got to kiss everybody and see where the sparks are. So, Jason decides to leave. Oh, the one-on-one date, Brendan. Yep. Brendan gets the
one-on-one date. And my biggest thing about this is 2 things.
What?
I only have about 2 things to say about this.
Okay.
Number 1, I was laughing my ass off at the kiss blocking Chris.
At his what?
Chris Harrison.
Oh, at the cock blocking?
As he showed up, like, because this guy, the guy that she went on the date with, he made it a point that on the first night he was going to lean in and kiss her. And then Chris, that's when he pulled her away to meet the guys coming out of the limo. So I thought it was absolutely hilarious that every time they turned a corner, they were riding horses through the property.
And he's like, hi.
Hi, would you like an ice cream cone? Would you? And you see him on his little scooter, like, driving away.
That was funny. And then he'd, like, run away. And they're getting a horseback ride, which is my favorite thing. I was jealous.
And I think they did it for 2 reasons. I think, number 1, they definitely did it because they knew.
Yeah.
But also because, think about it, when they've done horseback riding, I remember, I think it was Colton's season, they did stop at the vendors on the street because they were out and about. So they had to do something to kind of add to it, but I think it just
because they're just riding. I mean, normally you wouldn't just go riding around the actual resort. You would be like, if you book a riding trip, you would be riding out in the desert or somewhere on a trail. You wouldn't just be riding around on the resort. Plus, it was, it's funny. It's like a humorous little thing to add in there.
Props to ABC. They have to try and they have to do something.
Yeah. That was funny.
And then the other thing I loved is, obviously these guys don't know much about Tayshia, and he decides he needs to open up about something, and he's terrified he's going to go home after it. And he talks about getting married. And she is, asking questions. What did your family think? Mm-hmm. What about this? What about that? And then they're sitting there, and she goes, do you want to know my thoughts? And it's like, we know Tayshia, so we know she's already been married.
Well, he's already been married is what he was scared to tell her. But he does tell her.
Married and divorced.
Married and divorced, young.
And she says, so do you want to know my thoughts? And she's got this look on her face because she's like, this guy has no idea what I'm about to say.
I know, because he's scared, the poor thing. He's terrified.
Pooping his pants. Yeah. Like, he's terrified because he flat out says, like, I think I'm going to go home because of this. And she's like, I was married too when I was young. So I think that was really good. But, I don't know what else.
He seems just
those were my only 2 thoughts.
He
about
seems
the one-on-one
so sweet and quiet, and a little bit like intimidated about her. So I think she did a good job of helping him feel a little more comfortable and not, and like, it's okay to open up to me, and it's okay to talk to me and tell me your thoughts and feelings and about your past, and I'm not gonna just dismiss you because you know, one little thing happened. Like, that's the whole point, is to get to know people.
It was just really cool because she had been through the same thing, but he didn't know that.
Exactly.
So I thought it was really cool that he took the time to open up.
Yeah.
And not knowing what she was going to say. And yeah, Tayshia seems like the type, like, I could be best friends with her. Like, yeah. Sorry, girl. I love you, but.
Oh, okay. So you'll move to Orange County for Tayshia, but not for me. I see how it is. Wow.
I said Haven. I mean, it goes Haven, Tayshia.
Oh, my sweet baby girl. So cute.
I mean, Haven's enough to move back to. And you kind of go with Haven, so. But thanks. Yeah, no, like, she just seems like that kind of friend that you would open up to. And I know on her season, she made a lot of really genuine good friendships.
Yeah.
Even like the top, because she was top 3, and her and Hannah Ann, who was the top. Wait, who did he end up choosing? No. Yeah, Hannah Ann, I think, was one of the last ones, too. Her and Hannah Ann became very good friends. So, yeah, it happens.
I mean,
so she's, yeah. So that was my thing.
Well, yeah, so they tell each other that, and then at the end of the date, they still have fireworks. Yay. Fireworks.
Yeah. Well, I'm like,
I mean, always. I think, yeah, that's it. I didn't write down any more either than you about that date, because that was pretty much it. I mean, Chris Harrison popping up, and then them getting a little bit deep and telling each other they were both married. And it is interesting to see the similarities, you know, that they have going on, even though their personalities, you know, like one's more shy and reserved and one's much more outgoing. Yeah, but it seemed like a good date. Seems like she likes him. I'm curious to see, you know, how far he'll go. And obviously he doesn't go home. So,
yep.
He stays.
Yep, doesn't go home, gets the first date rose.
He doesn't go home,
I think he was, I definitely think it was great.
Okay, and then Claire, and then that was it. That was it for the last episode 5. And then they did break kind of in the middle of the episode, and Chris Harrison sat down, and Claire and Dale came back out, and they chatted. So, I mean, I just kind of jotted down my few things. We didn't really get any, you know, special news or anything. It was just more about how it was love at first sight for them. And then we have Claire crying again. How wonderful it is for Dale to be there. And then Claire told us, you know, that Dale just is really good for her in a way that, like, she was having massive anxiety and was pacing around the pool. And, you know, that was kind of her thing. Like, she was having a really hard time. And he just came outside and just walked with her around the pool and was, like, just being there. And that's really the type of person that she needs. Somebody to just be there with her when things like that happen.
I will say, as someone that's single, that is one of the number one things I look for in not even just relationships anymore, but friendships, where there's just those people.
Just supportive.
And there's just those people that, like, being around them, I don't need to be doing anything. I don't need to talk about my problem.
Yeah.
I don't need to have a vent session. I just need to sit with a certain person.
Yeah.
And feel calm. Like, when I come down there and visit, I just feel calm. Like, I don't need to be doing anything, you know? And
even though the house is chaos. Dogs are barking, kids are jumping off the couches. You're just sitting there chilling.
Okay, after a few days, I'm like, okay, I need to go home to quiet. But
I know, and I'm like, I want to go with you. Yeah, so I did like that little brief, you know, giving us something to kind of show, you know, how in sync they are. I mean, it is obviously a pretty new relationship, so, you know, who knows? Time will tell about, you know, in the beginning, there's always the honeymoon period, and you're a lot more forgiving and a lot more supportive in the very beginning of any relationship before, you know, life starts to wear you down a bit. So we'll see. But I mean, based on kind of the little bits and pieces that they've given us, it does seem like they're a really good fit for each other. And it does seem like Dale really loves her. And I mean, we obviously know she loves him. So that's kind of it. I mean, it was just a brief little session on the couch.
Yep. I didn't really watch it. I fast forwarded.
Yeah, it wasn't much. It didn't give us much.
So I have
but I'm excited next week. So we haven't lost any guys. So, right? Oh no, we lost one. The one that went home. So we're down to 19.
Mm-hmm.
So we haven't had a rose ceremony. So yeah, I'm curious to see what will happen next and what dates there's going to be for Tayshia, and then what the rose ceremony is going to look like how many they're going to cut. Because I have not jumped ahead and looked or dug around for any spoilers like I sometimes do in past seasons. I'm trying to be good for you guys so I can do these videos without already knowing what's before.
Right, exactly. Oh my gosh.
So I'm trying to have this so we can actually like be in the same conversation. But sometimes I can't help myself, or things just come across my social media and I just see spoilers.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
It happens. It happens. Like Claire, we all knew it was going to happen. But
yeah, Tayshia, well, that one was hard to stay off of social media with.
Well, it was everywhere. I mean, they knew there was no hiding it, so it just you couldn't help but know something was going wrong there.
Well, and that was a big, I mean, you think about, you know, her finding love, getting engaged, and leaving. That was a huge, it's too big to keep a secret. I mean, a lot of different spoilers you could avoid seeing, but not that. That was
no. And her sour disposition, we're talking about Claire still, in the beginning, I think like you said, you're like, I wouldn't have watched anymore if I knew it wasn't going to end. So I think they probably took into the consideration, too, the feeling that the show had and knowing, like, hey, we got to get in front of this and let people know that this is going to be wrapped up and, you know, something's going to change.
I think so. I think they had to market it that way because, I think even like, so we have another friend, Jen, she binge watched it one night when I was finally watching it, and she hadn't seen any spoilers.
And so she didn't know at all?
No, and then I would say some stuff, and she's like, don't spoil it. I'm like, Jen, how have you not seen this? Like, you were on social media.
It was everywhere.
And I don't follow, like, I will preface this on my social media, my personal one, I don't follow any kind of, like, I don't follow The Bachelor. I don't follow any of the Bachelor or Bachelorette people, but I do follow E! News. That's the only, like, I try to limit the amount of celebrities and things like that because my feed gets overturned by them. Or overrun, but I saw it like on E! Or BuzzFeed or the couple of those. So it's funny because I felt bad because she's like, don't tell me. And I'm like, how do you not know?
I'm always accidentally putting in our group text that and things that spoil. She's like, no, don't talk about the show. But I can't help it because I watch a lot of these, you know, other review channels and other, like the E! News or the Bravo News or you know, other YouTubers reviewing, and it's always popping up. And even if I don't click on it and watch whatever they're talking about, just the caption in the thumbnail will give me a hint of like something new. So it'll already be a spoiler.
Yeah, I semi feel bad, and then I'm like, stop it.
Oh, well, she'll be fine. She'll be fine. All right, guys. So that is it. That is all we have for you. Tayshia's first episode, episode 5, Bachelorette. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that little like button and subscribe. Hit that bell. Make sure you don't miss any. Remember, every like is one step closer to getting Alicia back to Orange County with me.
The mission.
We have a mission now. It is clear.
Yeah.
So do all that fun stuff, and we hope you guys have a lovely day and join us back again for the next episode of Bachelorette. We'll see you then.
Yep.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, YouTube. Bye, guys.